And yeah, they had him run through this object over here during that cutscene. I think it was this one.
Pathfinder, there is little time to waste. You need to leave.
Okay, Sam, you know what? That's at some point it becomes nagging.
Pathfinder, a moment. I'm picking up Krogan life signs on board the ship. Several captives are being held not far from your location. They are scheduled for exaltation.
Could be the rest of Drax's missing scouts.
Sam, do we have time to get there before the Ket restore power?
If you act quickly.
Ryder, it's Reika. I'm pinned down. Don't think I'm gonna make it.
Where are you?
Near holding cells where they're keeping several of my people. They're still alive. I ordered Captain Hager back to the Ark.
You should be with him.
I couldn't leave my people. I had to try. And now, I think it's over. From one Pathfinder to another, farewell. Reika out.
Damn it!
There isn't time to save both. Once the Ket restore power, you'll be trapped.
This is our only chance to save Drax scouts. They'll be turned into more of those monsters.
Did we just... Okay, so we're doing the exact Virmire situation, except between two things I have way less reason to care about. It sucks that they would be exalted, but like, one of the other one's a Pathfinder, and they're both lives. How would I know who to go for at this point? And like, they're both living creatures. There's no reason to prioritize one over the other. But one of them's a Pathfinder, which is kind of a big deal. It's fucked. Drax's probably gonna be mad.
Reload. We're going after Reika.
Pathfinder, you came.
Reika, we couldn't just leave you here.
Thank you. My people are at the end of the tunnel. It's Ket the whole way.
Then we push ahead and don't stop for anything. Let's go.
We just unceremoniously found her with no conflict along the way, and she's not even under attack. And then everyone... Then we go in the next room and everyone just walks around the corner at that moment like they were expecting us. What a weird moment.
It's that or die!
That did not feel elegant, as it probably meant to be.
Tempest, this is Ryder. Do you copy?
I hear you, Pathfinder.
We have the map, and we're trying to rescue some prisoners.
Those Ket guns won't stay offline forever.
I know. Just tell us if anything changes.
You'll be the first to know. Callow out.
If this game was made by, like, the developers of Fallout New Vegas, for example, there'd be a third option, which would be to not save anyone because the mission takes priority, and you need to make sure that you get through this and successfully, or we're screwed. Solarian Ark must be saved at all costs. I wouldn't pick that option, but it would be interesting if we were playing the kind of RPG that had more of those kinds of options. Ah, oh, Vetra, crap.
They love to cut us open! The hell they will!
Where'd he go? Kinda lost him, and then blue. Vetra's shooting the hell out of that wall, though. Mega badass there. Look at him go! Haha! There you go.
Pathfinder, that Ket ship is trying to reset the power.
Oh, crap.
They'll have the guns back in no time.
Copy that. You hear that, everyone?
Let's finish this!
Oh, ow.
That's a Ket who's never getting back up!
You are facing the wrong direction for this gunfight, y'all. How are you behind cover facing me, aiming at me? Like, that's not how Battlefronts work at this point. This was a different Mass Effect game, he would have been dead immediately because of how vulnerable he'd be from facing the wrong way.
Not much further!
Alright, well, it's a little crowded over there. You got taken down too? I thought you were behind cover. Vetra. Oh, that was the corpse. I was mixing up with that health bar. There we go. Oh, another orb guy? I just fought one on this ship. They're so repetitive. It's kind of too bad they waited until like 60 hours into the game to introduce the idea that the Krogans are being indoctrinated, because that would have given us more enemy types. This game has like 4 enemy types in like the entire game. It feels like. I don't even count the various kinds of pirates. I don't think I can reasonably count Solarians, Asari, Krogan, and humans and Turians as being different enemies in normal combat when they're not modified. Because they're all functionally identical. There's just minor variations of this one has shields and this one has armor and this one uses grenades a bit. But functionally I fight them all identically, and I don't even notice that I don't even notice what race they are aside for half the game. Take him out. Excuse me. I have to ask you to back off. There we go. It still knocked him back at the last second, regardless. But yeah, if the enemies were indoctrinating faster, then we'd have more varied enemies of like Asari monsters and Krogan monsters, like what we had a moment ago, which probably would have made these Ket fights a little more interesting. Because right now they basically have a foot soldier, a heavy guy that looks like the heavies from Gears of War. And then sometimes this third dude shows up. That's most of it. And they're the primary antagonistic faction of the entire game. We lose him again. Kind of. He's still within biotic range, at least. Not anymore. Where'd you go? Both of you fighting that, please. There you go, Vetra. There we go.
We did it!
Bye-bye. That's the stuff that pokes holes in the idea when people say that this is the Mass Effect that has the best combat. It's snappy, and you get to jump around like a lunatic and stuff like that, and some of that feels good, and the aiming generally feels better than it has in previous ones. I'll give you that much. But then you have problems like you can't crouch. There's no cover toggle, so taking cover is inconsistent because sometimes shit will be like cover shaped, but you can't take cover behind it, so then you get shot to death because your character's too stupid to crouch behind cover when he's getting shot to death. And then you can't order your teammates to use powers, and then half your powers can just break from time to time because they're not tested correctly, so you have situations where a skill like charge won't work at all, or Lance will just aim incorrectly when you're aiming straight at a dude because it hits their cover even instead of going where your reticle is. And on top of that, you can't give your teammates powers, and the enemies don't have variety. It's like, if this is actually not the best combat in the Mass Effect series. Mass Effect 3 still is, because it had huge enemy variety and a ton of different powers and fun stuff to do. This one just feels a little good with the aiming and jumping a bit, but that doesn't actually make up for all the stuff we lost.
Can you run?
Pathfinder, the Ket are close to restoring the ship's power.
Tempest, we're going topside. Track for extraction.
Understood.
Ryder, thank you.
Save it for when we're safe.
That white Solarian didn't have textures. That was like that Krogan area that has no textures. Like that Solarian doesn't have a texture, so he's just white with shadows.
Let's move! Move!
Ryder, now! We've got to go!
A team will escort the Ark back to the Nexus. I'm sure they'll be happy to see you.
Thank you again, Ryder. But I owe you an apology. I made a mistake.
Oh?
I shouldn't have called you to say goodbye. The choice you had to make. I put too much on your shoulders.
You did what you had to. If that had been the Hyperion and I was looking for my people, I would have been the one calling you.
I appreciate that. As Pathfinders, the line between serving our own people and the greater good is blurry. I prefer a sharper focus.
I don't think there's going to be much of that in this line of work.
I suppose not. Whatever the case, the Solarian people are forever in your debt.
Earn this.
We will.
Drac.
I heard what happened. Wasn't enough to save the whole Ark, huh? Had to grab a few more Solarians on the way out.
Drac, it's...
Complicated, except it's not. Leaving my scouts behind was worse than killing them outright. And you're not the one who has to explain it to the rest of the clan.
It was a difficult choice, Ryder, but you won an important victory. The Archon has been dealt a blow. Your father would be proud.
Except it's a false choice, because Drac was there the whole time. He wasn't in my squad. The other people of my squad could have been there. We would have had literally twice the manpower. No, more than twice the manpower, because there's 6 squad members. I was doing the math wrong. I was thinking 3 versus 6, but one of the 3 is me, so it's the 6 is separate from me. We would have a squad of 4 people that could save the Krogan scouts, that are apparently all as capable as my squad is, and that'd be even more of them. But no, we leave the majority of my manpower behind, so that I have to make these decisions where we do stuff like this, and then Drac gets mad at me for the mission when he was just fucking sitting pretty on my ship doing absolutely nothing, which completely undercuts his whole... His judgment of me is totally undercut by the fact that he wasn't here on the ship with me in the first place when I was fighting. I will say that it definitely feels like Drac should be a character you take with you on this mission if you're doing additional runs. That's one thing that's enjoyable about playing Mass Effect again, the original trilogy, is that knowing what happens during parts of the game makes you specifically take certain characters with you. Like when you go after Matriarch Benezi, you'll take Liara and Rex with you, because Rex and the Krogan have a specific relationship with the Rachni, whereas Liara has a relationship with Benezia because it's her mother, and so those 2 characters are the clear, obvious choices to take on that mission because they interact with stuff certain ways. Drac here, not only are his scouts surprisingly on the ship and have to be saved in an Ashley Caden conversation, but also you fight a modified Krogan, which really adds to the whole thing. But yeah, they give you the option of saving some Krogan scouts versus saving a Pathfinder. But the whole thing, yeah, is really undercut by the fact that Drac, the guy who's giving me shit for it, was doing nothing while I was stuck to making the hard decisions. He was, hanging out in the fucking crew quarters? Cry me a river at some point, man. Jeez.
It's been tough, trying to fill his shoes. I hope I'm finally starting to earn it. Though slapping the Archon in the face like this will only make him more dangerous.
Or perhaps reckless. Your father liked putting others off balance. He said the worthy would rise above it, and learn to face adversity ably.
And the unworthy?
Would crumble. I'll leave you to your thoughts.
With reverence, Archon, this fascination with Meridian cannot continue.
It's the key to our future, Primus. The human knows nothing of its true power.
Even we don't fully understand it. Our orders are to exalt this cluster, not study the remnant. Questions are being asked about your judgment. Questions that come from the highest levels.
The answers will be clear soon enough. With Meridian, we can transform every world in this cluster to a wasteland. Either the subjects submit to exaltation, or we will use it to annihilate them. This Pathfinder has opened the door. Now we must be the first to cross the threshold. We must seize Meridian before it does. Like all lesser creatures, it mistakes a battle for the war. It doesn't know its weakness. Or its potential.
The Archon saw my memory flashes? He got that from my implant?
His device went deep. Our connections were wide open when Sam killed you.
We hit him once. We focus on doing it again. We have to rally the Nexus and move on Meridian.
$1,000 Andromeda viability points. I wonder if I can track down the Solarians on my ship, or if they've vanished entirely. I want to track down those ones with that. I think there was either one or maybe even two of them that were just white, because they didn't load their textures in. I wanted to see if they are on the ship like Kirahi was. I was curious to see if they would suddenly have textures or not. Or if they just always look like that. Let's see. Suvi, Kahlo, PB, Liam, Gil, Jal, Sam, Drac, Lexi, Cora, Petra. Nope. They do not appear to be around. Alright. Well, in true Mass Effect fashion, we have now done a major story mission, so it's probably about time to try talking to everyone again to see if we can get more dialogue out of them. Usually can. If I don't get new dialogue after out of the first few, I'll stop, and then we'll go do this whole speak to the leaders on Nexus thing, and maybe that'll be the trigger, assuming we even have those kinds of patterns in this game at this point. Do I have any points to spend? 1. Also, these are acquirable. Okay, maybe you can just give all of them to me at once. Just a little inelegant. Not that BioWare's ever been great at interface design. That's been a problem in all of their games. They've never had a top-notch interface in any of their games. More mining nodes, faster research points, reduced time to gather minerals. Let's do the mining nodes, I guess. I'm definitely at the point where I don't care about these anymore, just because the ones that are left are so not interesting, mostly, that I've definitely gotten the ones I wanted.
Pathfinder, Bradley says Prodromos is back on track. That Rokar threat made me angry as hell, but it also kind of made me feel like a local. I've arranged a thing on EOS for everyone. It's time I gave back, not just go from crisis to crisis. Sam has the nav points, dress light.
Oh, there we go, something new. Community on Prodromos. That could be interesting. By the way, Liam, when's movie night? I've been playing this game for like 60 hours. It doesn't take that long to organize a movie night, right? Like, when are we having movie night?
Waiting on that trip to Prodromos, Pathfinder. Head there and hit my nav point. We've all earned a break.
Okay, that's all we can talk about. I just thought I'd try, like, seeing if he has any reaction to the whole everything that just happened. I'll do PB last. It usually works out. Kind of on my return trip anyway.
Hey, you're 2 for 2.
What do you mean?
2 times face-to-face with the Archon. 2 times you spit in said face. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Come up short once, it's game over.
Gotta keep your win streak going, then. Bastard's trying to exalt us all, huh? That's what all this is about?
Could be.
Typically, I like high-stakes games, but I'd rather be sitting at the kiddie table this time.
Good talking to you, Gil.
Anytime.
There we go, that's a little bit more what I figured. Follow up on the major story mission that happened. Let's get back to Prodromos, though. Could be interesting. Have a little let-loose party. We seem to find time for a lot of those, though, don't we?
Petra
You realize that even if I do find it, it's gonna cost you.
And you know I'm always true to my word, so just get it done. I'm hearing the Ket activity's down. I bet the Archon's still nursing his wounds. That means he can be beaten. The Ket can be beaten. People are waking up to that.
Didn't sound like you were discussing Ket over comms when I walked in, though.
Wasn't. I have a friend keeping a lookout for a lamp. One brought from home, but stolen in the revolt.
I didn't think you were so sentimental.
I'm not the only one. Suvi has her father's antique instruments, Cora her Asari prayer book, and Liam has the junk that Liam collects. These things are important. They remind us where we came from.
I know what you mean. I never want to forget what I left behind.
Even as we look forward to the future. Yes.
So what's so special about this lamp?
It's awful. It's got a butt-naked Asari for the stand, and she's holding a moon.
One of your prized possessions is a really ugly lamp?
The foreman at my first job had this lamp. When he was mean, I'd focus on it so he wouldn't see me upset. Now I keep it so I remember where I started. Most of my life was doing stuff to survive, taking shit from assholes, or being one. I don't have to do that anymore. I can start over. Something honest.
Honest work? Vetra, you'd be an awful farmer.
Yeah, you don't know that. Point is, I could be anything. For a while, I didn't care that I'd lost the lamp. Everything was a mess and it just didn't matter. But we've made progress, Ryder. Small things matter again. People are daring to dream.
I think my dream is finding someone special to explore the galaxy with.
Oh. And have you found that person?
I'm pretty sure I have. You'll love her. She's tall, great with guns, and getting people to do what she wants.
Okay, I'll admit I'm just curious now to see if there's going to be like a showdown of some sorts. Eventually, Kaiden and Ashley, or Liara, whatever triangle developed, would kind of try to figure out which way you're going with things. And then same kind of thing would kind of happen with who was it? I want to say Jack and Miranda? No, they fight just because they hate each other, actually. That's different.
Still thinking about the Turian arc. Mason and Avidus. I hope Avidus is doing all right.
Time heals all wounds, as they say.
Heals the wound, doesn't erase it. You don't lose someone like that without scarring.
So why weren't you on the Turian arc?
Our dad left Palavin with us long before the arc even existed. I don't know if we really count as members of Turian society anymore. But who needs all those rules anyway, right?
You probably have work to do. We can chat later.
You know where to find me.
We say that, but all the arcs were divided originally. I mean, I assume it was the government of each race that put together the separate arcs for each race and everything, but at the same time, like, different people can only eat the same foods and stuff like that, so, like, mixing in Turians, for example, in with all the humans on the Nexus is actually kind of problematic, because you have to prepare a whole lot of other stuff for that one specific ship, whereas if you did fully segregate, then each ship would have its own preparations, and it would actually probably be cheaper overall. It also doesn't really explain why there's no, I will repeat this, no Quarians. Not even a few? There's rogue Quarians that go on pilgrimage and don't come back. Like, no Quarians at all would go on the Turian ship or the Nexus where they can take care of Turians. In both cases, there are Turians, so like they can eat the same food. They should be able to live in the same conditions generally. Also, if we can do gene therapy to fix the Krogans, why can't we do gene therapy to fix the Quarians? You know, those people that were at the end of Mass Effect 3 getting gene therapy from the Geth to fix their immune problems. Like, it could literally happen. Not to mention that we have to get immunities to completely different diseases anyway, because we're in a different galaxy entirely. Yeah, the idea that no Quarians here is actually really weird. I argued against the idea of a Quarian arc. Really, not even like a couple of them felt like coming here on their own because they're independent human beings. They're not humans, but you know what I mean.
I feel like things are finally going our way, for real. Getting the Solarians back, that's huge. I just wish we didn't have to sacrifice so many for it.
You probably have work to do. We can chat later.
You know where to find me.
Yeah, it'd be nice if during these giant, important operations we do, where thousands and thousands of people's lives are on the line, if we could go there with a crew of more than 10 people and a squad of more than 3 people. It'd be nice. We have like a whole military, and we have several arcs worth of people, and a whole bunch of people that would like to see the Solarian arc not die. It's a good thing they're all chipping in. Oh, wait. They're not at all. It's really hard to reconcile some of that stuff sometimes.
Liam's idea about watching vids together.
Movie night? He delayed again, out of respect for the Krogan.
Good. From what I've seen, your vids are flat. They're only seen and heard. Angara vids use tiny electrodermal signals. You feel it through your skin. I spoke to Gil. We have time to rig up a system to mimic it, if we can acquire the right components.
Would that be safe for non-Angara?
I think so. Gil will be happy to test it. The components we need should be sold on Aya. Let's be vigilant.
Oh, movie night. I guess there's my answer, huh? But I just had the thought, like, it's actually interesting, this... I don't know if I've expressed this thought before earlier in the series or not, but like, we're sticking to this exact squad size, but the squad size we have in this game was actually explained in the Mass Effect trilogy. Actually, every game made a specific point to explain why you have that size ship and that size squad and why you do what you do. Because in Mass Effect 1, you were Black Ops, meaning, I don't know who he's talking to, he's doing like talking gestures. You were Black Ops in Mass Effect 1. You were specifically supposed to be doing deniable things. That's the whole point of Black Ops, is you're going to the border of hostile space, doing secret missions, and they need to maintain some plausible deniability, so that's why they weren't sending an entire military to deal with Saren and the Geth and this threat that they weren't entirely sure even was real, necessarily. It's double explained. 1, they don't know if the threat's actually entirely legitimate. 2, it's triple explained. They also don't really care as much about some human colonies and say that the humans should take care of their own problems. 3, it's on the edge of Terminus space, and you can't send an entire squad there. I mean, you can't send an entire military there, or you'll risk all-out war. There was 3 reasons explaining the squad size in Mass Effect 1. Mass Effect 2, you're working for Cerberus. Nobody trusts you, no one will work with you, and Cerberus is a fragmented, crazy, weird cell community that is like, it's basically 1,000 different, it's basically like 1,000 different separate organizations all over the place, and you were a specific squad being sent around by the Elusive Man, which also made sense. Additionally, in 3, everybody's fighting straight up wars everywhere, and you're basically a rapid fire like triage politician that's trying to get everyone to side with each other and organize just the right moves while everyone else is busy with all-out conflict. Like, all 3 games that do a great job at explaining why you're a tiny squad doing all this crap, but like, we're finding the arcs of the Asari and the Turian and the Solarians. There are tens of thousands of people on board, all of their lives are at risk, and who do we send? We send a ship of about 10 people, and then 3 of those people go on an all-out conflict to hopefully defeat an entire ship that itself has tens of thousands of people on it. It's insane. It's not explained the way that the main trilogy explains it. Like, it doesn't actually make sense, but that's the core conceit of how this game works. Is it's one of the many things where all the elements of the world and what we do and the mechanics that drive it and how the story works, almost none of it is actually thought out and explained the way that the original trilogy, and especially the first game, was obsessed with doing. And instead of making everything make sense and have concrete details and explain why your guns don't reload and have an overheat meter and they shave off tiny fragments of blocks and accelerate them through blah blah blah, those crazy codex things that explain that details, like, instead of that, we get, oh, you're a squad of 3 people because that's what we did in the other games, even though the context is gone now and it makes no sense. It's like they're driving blind. They do stuff in that was in other games because it was there, and otherwise we just do whatever, and they just make up stuff first, then make up like a 1-sentence lore explanation afterwards, like fucking Geth telescope the Geth Mass Effect telescope that could somehow accelerate time by, like, I don't know, sucking at it like it's a straw. It was a time straw of light that would suck light at us so we could see further, faster, because physics doesn't have rules or anything, and that's how we were able to see the future and see these places. But then we drove for them for 600 years and it didn't matter anyway because it didn't, blah.